Police say a man armed with multiple weapons opened fire at a Jewish community center in Kansas City, killing 3 people. The suspect, an alleged KKK member.
We're investigating it as a hate crime. We're investigating it as a criminal act. We haven't ruled out anything.
Plus, she lost both her son and her father. Now this mother is speaking out.
I just wanted to tell people thank you.
A charter school is closed today, but it's not because of charter school, it's the church next door.
And the weather, it's changing after a relatively warm weekend. Temperatures are tumbling today, and it's still a murky Monday out there.
You're watching News Channel 5, where the news comes first.
Good morning to you on this Monday. I'm Pat McGonigal.
And I'm Sarah Daly. Nicole Burley has the morning off. We appreciate you being on board with us this morning.
Yeah, definitely a lot going on, a lot to talk about. I know a lot of people were excited about the ninjas at Soldiers Memorial, the American Ninja Warrior show. There are tryouts here. They were supposed to be last night. And I remember, Sarah, we announced this, and Scott Connell said, no.
Not going to happen. Well, he was right.
Going to happen.
When is Scott ever wrong?
Exactly. Listen to Scott, ninjas.
That's right. Are they going to try to do it again? Do they have a makeup date?
Yeah, today.
Okay. All right. So, today's going to be an interesting day. You'll be wet and cold. All right. Here we are dealing with some patches of drizzle drifting in across the area. The widespread heavier rain like we saw yesterday and in the evening hours, that's all pressed away. But this is just some drizzle and some very light rain. Some gusty winds are going to be with us, and temperatures are going the wrong direction right now. They are still dropping, and they will not get back to these levels. Probably not even tomorrow for some of us. Still 57 in Belleville and Mascoutah, 56 in Edwardsville. You'll be in the 40s, if not in the upper 30s, as you head into late this afternoon. Wentzville's already dropped back to 48 with St. Peter's at 49. We're going down this morning temperature-wise. Lambert's at 51. Basically, some patches of light rain and drizzle this morning. It should pick up, the rain will, some this afternoon. But look at that 5 o'clock temperature, 39 degrees with a gusty wind. So be prepared for that.
And traffic-wise, we're in pretty good shape. Roads are dry, no major concerns, Scott, so that is the good news. We don't have any major accidents on the Missouri side of the river, so 255 and 55 scooting right along. The JP Bridge, decent shape. 270 in Riverview, chain of rocks. Same situation there. If you're traveling out in that direction, speeds clocking about that 50-mile-per-hour mark, 270 and 44. It's still pretty early, but keep in mind 6:30 is that heaviest travel time, especially as we enter that 7 o'clock hour. That's when we really start to see some bumper-to-bumper traffic. Pat?
There's no other words to describe it, just panic.
A community outside Kansas City is rattled after a deadly shooting spree, and this morning we have some new details on the shooter. 3 people were killed after a gunman opened fire at 2 Jewish centers in Overland Park, Kansas. Police say 73-year-old Frazier Glenn Cross drove to a Jewish community center and opened fire with a shotgun. He killed 3 people, including a doctor and his 14-year-old grandson. The shooting spree apparently started as dozens were gathering for a singing competition at that community center.
He's apparently an older gentleman and was asking people before he shot if they were Jewish or not. First identified himself at the example of Village Shalom as being Jewish. He then shot.
And we have some new details this morning about the suspect in this. Police say the name Frazier Glenn Cross Jr. is an alias. The Southern Poverty Law Center says he is a former Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. Now, in the wake of yesterday's shootings, police all across the country say they have increased their presence around Jewish facilities for this Passover holiday. Now, meanwhile, authorities spent the night searching Cross's home for any evidence. Now, meanwhile, a vigil was held at a nearby church for the victims of the shootings, and a woman whose father and son were both killed by the gunman surprised the crowd by attending that vigil.
I'm the mother of the son who was killed. And I want to tell you how much I appreciate you all being here. I heard that there was going to be a vigil, and we all grieve in different ways. And I just wanted to tell people thank you.
So on this Passover morning, another vigil is planned. And coming up in our next half hour, we talked to the local Jewish Community Center on how they are handling and coping with this tragic event. Sarah?
Well, Pat, a charter school in North St. Louis is closed today, and that's because an old church is crumbling next to it. We turn now to Ryan Dean, who is live outside the Better Learning Communities Academy. He's in the Hyde Park neighborhood. Ryan?
Good morning to you, Sarah. According to the school's website, they have about 90 students that go here, and it says it'll be closed at least through today, so maybe longer. It all depends on the status of the neighboring church. The Bethlehem Lutheran Church has stood at the corner of Salisbury and North Florissant for nearly 120 years. It's been vacant since 1995. The building is in really rough shape. On Friday, part of the church collapsed. The concern was to keep it from falling on the charter school, so heavy equipment was brought in to push the wall back into the church. But the play yard between the school and the church is littered with brick and glass. Now, the church was actually on a list of historic buildings to be saved. This building highlights a growing problem in the city, and actually one that will be addressed today at City Hall. We'll have more on that at 5:30. That is the very latest. Ryan Dean, News Channel 5.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. And 2 vehicles damaged overnight after hitting a pipe on Interstate 64. This pipe fell off an 18-wheeler around 1 a.m. near the Hanley exit. No word so far on any injuries.
And investigators are trying to figure out what caused a crash that killed a Wright City teenager. It happened on Highway D in Lincoln County around 4:30 Saturday afternoon. Investigators say Jesus Pinedo Alvarez lost control of his car, traveled off the road and hit a tree stump. His car then flipped over and caught fire. He was thrown from the vehicle and died at the scene.
And scary moments for the parents of a 3-year-old after the child was hit by a car. Investigators say a driver hit the child in the 4600 block of Virginia yesterday afternoon. The 3-year-old had to be taken to the hospital, but we are learning the child is expected to be okay, luckily. Now, the driver did stop and is cooperating with police. No word, though, on why the child may have been out in the street or what led up to that incident.
And developing this morning, Wentzville Police Chief Lisa Harrison has filed a lawsuit accusing city officials of harassing her. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch reports the suit includes the mayor, 2 alderwomen, and the St. Charles County prosecuting attorney. Harrison claims that city officials conducted a, quote, gender-based harassment campaign to discredit her. The suit seeks attorney's fees and unknown amount in financial damages.
Well, the tryouts were canceled last night for the American Ninja Warrior event in downtown St. Louis because of the rain.
Now they're just going to be cold. Well, the popular NBC series was set to start recording a tryout episode last night at Soldiers Memorial.
And that's where we find News Channel 5's Dana Dean this morning. So, Dana, will these potential warriors still get a chance to try out?
Oh, yeah, they will. These potential warriors are all camped out in tents right now, by the way. They're all sound asleep here at Soldiers Memorial, but they will get a chance to try out tonight. Competition begins at 5 o'clock. You can see a little bit of the stage right there. It says American Ninja Warrior St. Louis. It was rescheduled after last night's weather. The threat of storms and gusty winds didn't keep the competitors away during the day on Sunday, but at the last second, the competition was postponed. Mother Nature won, just as American Ninja Warrior was supposed to hold auditions in downtown St. Louis. One local, a Bethalto, Illinois police sergeant, says the whole thing is a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of stress from the weather, from the anticipation of actually doing it. But the cool thing is the camaraderie of the people. You know, it kind of keeps your spirits up.
Now, anticipation is building. Some of these potential warriors have been camped out here at Soldiers Memorial for more than a week, all in hopes of getting a chance to try out for this TV show. Now, you can be a member of the audience. You just have to show up here, we're told, around 4:30 at Soldiers Memorial. I'm live downtown. Back to you.
All right, sounds like a lot of fun, Danny. You probably have to wear earmuffs and mittens too if you're going to go down.
Well, that's right, because you're going to be there, so you got the list of guidelines.
I'm not. It is 5:09. He was accused of bullying and then given a creative punishment for his crime.
Now that punishment has gone viral.
I'm going to tell you about that. Plus, flying just got a little lighter for your wallet at 5:18. How you can get thousands of dollars back from the airline the next time you fly.
And this morning in St. Louis, we are talking about some damp weather. It gets wet again this afternoon. And the temperatures, they are tumbling. We're coming right back to the forecast for the school day ahead. 512 in St. Louis, you can see still a little wet from our First Alert Weather Camera Network out at Lambert St. Louis International Airport this morning, where the temperatures are dropping. Some drizzle is falling. The main area of rain, that's long gone, pressing off to the east of us. That's snow up in Wisconsin. That's also some snow back here across parts of Kansas and Nebraska. And we might actually see a couple of snowflakes this evening, just a couple. We do look at drizzle this morning. Temperatures falling through the 40s and into the upper 30s by the evening rush hour. Overnight tonight, freeze warning goes into effect 11 p.m. until 9 a.m. Temperatures will drop into the 20s for most of us overnight tonight. See you in a few minutes. We're going to check in with our community right now. Larry Johnson's cruising around town. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Scott. I've been around 55 southbound. Everything looks pretty good there. I'm running northbound on 270 right now. Everything's running about the speed limit. Otherwise than that, everything looks pretty good. I guess back to you, to Pat and Sarah.
Okay, thanks a lot, Larry. A disturbing story out of Utah this morning. A woman accused of killing 7 of her babies over a 10-year period. Police say Megan Huntsman gave birth to these babies starting back in 1996. And investigators say they just recently found the babies' bodies stuffed in boxes in the garage of her home near Salt Lake City. Huntsman's estranged husband called police with a tip about one possible dead infant, and when police arrived, they discovered 6 more bodies.
And crews searching for the Indian Ocean or over the Indian Ocean for missing Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 are sending a sub out for the first time. The unmanned vessel will create a sonar map of the area to chart any debris on the sea floor. The leader of the search says the pings, believed to be from the black box, haven't been heard in 6 days. Now they think the batteries have died. It's been 36 days since the Malaysia Airlines plane went missing with 239 people on board.
And this morning, a Chicago mother is demanding justice for her murdered daughter. Jakira Barnes was shot at least 9 times while walking with a friend on Friday. Now, police aren't sure why this 17-year-old was targeted. Barnes was one of at least 4 people murdered in the city since Friday. 33 others were hurt in dozens of separate shootings.
And an Ohio man sentenced to public shaming for harassing his neighbors learned what it's like to be on the receiving end. A judge ordered Edmund Aviv to sit on a street corner holding up a sign telling the world he's a bully who picks on disabled children. Neighbors say the 37-year-old harassed their adopted children for the past 15 years and even smeared dog feces on their home at one point. Now, on top of the public shaming, Aviv will also have to serve 15 days in jail and write an apology letter to his neighbors.
All right. Apparently, he did do some pretty terrible things as a neighbor.
It's awful.
So, you know, there's a creative sentencing available. 5:15. If you're having relationship problems, should you blame Twitter?
Well, we've got a reason as to why you may want to ditch the social media site if you want to stay in good terms with your significant other.
And it was a big night at the MTV Movie Awards. The highlights are coming up at 5:28.
And we had our highlights weather-wise over the weekend. Temperatures, hey, they were pretty nice. Not so much so today. Grab your winter coat as you head out the door this morning. We'll tell you why coming up.
Severe weather strikes hard and strikes often. The News Channel 5 team of meteorologists are shifted around the clock to alert you, to prepare you, to help protect you. Experience, expertise, and technology when you need it most. 24 hours each day and each night. That's the News Channel 5 promise. That's why News Channel 5 is where the news comes first.
Hi, I'm Pat Dean. When you're buying a car,
The rig wrecks wreaking havoc.
They're ready.
6 a.m. in 3, 2, and 1. Breaking overnight. Big rig wrecks on both sides of the river. We'll tell you what you need to know for your morning commute.
Hatred in the heartland. A white supremacist accused of opening fire outside a Jewish community center in Kansas. And we've learned the suspect once ran for Senate here in Missouri.
And the Blues end the season on a sour note. Now playoff hockey set to start in St. Louis this week.
Postpartum, not just a problem for moms. A new study claims many new dads also suffer from depression. Better tell Casey.
Yeah.
Right. That's right, Tony.
In your home. Another great reason is our 10-day loan closing. That means you save more money and time to spend with your family. Call now, 314-839-9999. We have loan officers on call right now to help you refinance and close your loans in 10 days. At the heart of every home is a mortgage, and Vincent Mortgage is ready to help you refinance your loan. Call Vincent Mortgage now at 314-839-9999.
Career. a course or progress through life. At St. Louis College of Health Careers, we define your career as life, learning, and work. Dreams intersecting with possibilities. Your life can go anywhere. Here, world-class academics open the doors to the world's most dynamic healthcare organizations. Find yourself here and begin your career at St. Louis College of Health Careers. Call right now and let's start the conversation.
Imagine getting $1,000 the next time an airline misplaces your suitcase. Our consumer team has tested this new service. If you're on a trip and having the airline that you were on lost your luggage and send it to you 5 days later, it's completely useless, clearly. Well, for $5, you can now insure your bags with a service called Blue Ribbon, and they will pay you $1,000 if your bag goes missing for more than 4 days. We have more information on this deal and so much more right now on KSTK.com. That's quite a deal.
It is a good deal. And how about this, Sarah? There's a new gym in California that wants to offer up motivation in 12-ounce doses. The California Family Fitness Gym applied for a liquor license. The gym owner says he wants people to be able to get their workout in, then stick around and socialize, maybe have a drink. No word yet if the liquor license will get the go-ahead.
Not sure if that goes hand in hand. Well, new research shows that Twitter users are far more likely to experience major relationship problems, including emotional and physical, cheating, breakups, and even divorce. A similar study done at Oxford University showed married couples who used multiple social media platforms found no greater relationship satisfaction, and some even reported decreasing satisfaction. Either way, the best advice, if you want to avoid problems, pay more attention to your real life partner than your online followers.
That is very good advice for everybody.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, we are talking about temperatures that are tumbling this morning. I mean, we're down around 50 in St. Louis now, and just to our west, it's in the 40s. Ooh. When you came in, it won't be that warm when you go home.
Oh my goodness.
And, you know, for those getting ready to go out the door this morning, you're looking at another 15 degrees colder when you go home this afternoon.
Scott,
allergies are not going to be a problem this afternoon. Nope, we're washing those pollen. We've just washed the pollen out of the air and the trees. They're going to be a little bit shocked by the cold temperatures that are arriving, literally. Temperatures will be in the 30s for the drive home this afternoon. And it'll feel like it's even worse because of the gusty breezes. Right now, we have patches of light rain and drizzle across the area. Nothing all that substantial, but it's certainly enough to get some of the roadways a little damp again around the St. Louis area after drying out a bit during the overnight hours in the wake of the waves of rain we had yesterday. But you can see this activity just kind of drifting on through. Here are temperatures 6 hours ago when we were close to 60 in St. Louis. Over the last 6 hours, we've dropped and now we're closer to 50, with the temperatures out in mid-Missouri dropping to around 40 degrees. Winds are becoming gusty. Temperatures are going to continue to drop. It's a west-northwest wind at 13. 51 at last check, but that temperature is going to keep going down. We're in the 40s for most of the day, lower 40s this afternoon. The rain will actually pick back up. More so this afternoon as we head through the afternoon hours. We'll see the rain picking up this morning, just some patches of drizzle. Some rain this afternoon, early evening through the rush hour. Then maybe a few snowflakes as this winds down for good. And then we'll clear out late tonight, and then temperatures will drop into the upper 20s for most of us. The majority of the area is under a freeze warning later tonight. Jefferson County in Illinois and Perry County, Illinois and Perry County, Missouri under a freeze watch tonight. Tomorrow, though, with sunshine, we'll get back close to 50 and then getting close to 60 by Wednesday. Maybe some more late week showers. So Easter weekend looks like it could be a little bit wet at times, Sarah.
Okay, Scott. Well, one thing to keep in mind if you are traveling eastbound on 70 on the Illinois side of the river at 143, there is an overturned tractor trailer that has the eastbound lanes closed right now. You can get by on the shoulder, so the highway's not completely closed down. Just anticipate a bit of a backup if you're planning to travel through that stretch anytime soon. Everywhere else, we're in pretty good shape this morning. Still about an hour and a half away, away from our heaviest travel time, so you shouldn't have too many concerns at this point. Again, it's just going to be those cooler temperatures that may come as a bit of a shock this morning, so just make sure you bundle up.
And the voice, the guitar, and the songs. Rod Stewart and Santana will rock the Scott Trade Center for an unprecedented night of legendary music. And this morning, we have a pair of tickets to give away to this June 6th concert. Register right now at kstk.com/contest. You have until 11 a.m.
And it's 5:22. The battle rounds continue tonight on The Voice.
Oh, man. And two locals hoping to make it through to the next round.
525, your wind is gusty this morning. It's out of the west-northwest, and that means colder temperatures are rolling in and across the bi-state area this morning. It is going to be a much different day today as those temperatures drop all day long. The steadier rain has pushed out. However, there's still some more energy we have to get through this afternoon. That energy is producing some snow this morning back into parts of Kansas. I just checked the flight board in and out of Lambert, and all the flights are listed as being on time, so no delays being reported. We just have some patches of drizzle and those gusty winds. Right now, 51 in St. Louis. For the drive home this afternoon, 39 degrees with wind and rain. Sarah?
Well, let's go ahead and talk some entertainment headlines this morning. Up first, the MTV Movie Awards were last night, and we've got all the highlights.
The Hunger Games: Catching Fire earned the prize for Best Film. Jennifer Lawrence won for Best Female Performance, and Josh Hutcherson was voted Best Male Performer. But it was the summer movie teasers, from X-Men: Days of Future Past to The Amazing Spider-Man 2, that really dominated the live ceremony. Conan O'Brien hosted and did a little singing. They also took a moment for a tribute for the late Paul Walker.
And the young adult novel Divergent is the first in a trilogy. Now the studio behind the hit film adaptation wants to return the series into 4 films. Variety reports that the final chapter of the series, Allegiant, will be split into 2 movies. It follows a franchise trend spurred by the Harry Potter, Twilight, and Hunger Game movies. Part 1 is scheduled for March of 2016, and Part 2 will be released a little later, about a year or so. The second film in the saga, Insurgent, comes out next year.
And 2 St. Louis area singers will try to make it to the live rounds on The Voice tonight at 8. Tess Boyer is from Glen Carbon, Patrick Thompson's from Festus. Now, both will sing in the playoff rounds, hoping to convince Coach Shakira to take them to the top 12, but each coach has to trim their team from 5 to 3. Thompson and Boyer are vying for one of those 3 spots on Team Shakira. Be sure to watch The Voice live on News Channel 5. You can check it out Mondays and Tuesdays at 7 p.m. By the way, if you love The Voice, listen to this. This Thursday at 10 a.m., tickets go on sale for the 2014 tour. You'll be able to see all your favorite contestants live. This is a 31-date tour kicking off on June 21st. The season's top finalists, as well as past stars, will hit the road, and it'll come to St. Louis July 20th at Peabody Opera House.
And I know Bree is a big fan, but Game of Thrones has been such a success for HBO that it has been renewed for 2 more seasons. More than 6 million people tuned in to the 4th season debut on Sunday. The overwhelming demand crashed HBO's online streaming service. Now, don't expect the series to go on forever. The creators say they don't envision more than 7 or 8 seasons. So all things must come to an end.
It's true. And great news this morning, Sarah, for Fast and Furious fans. Universal Studios is creating a new ride based on those popular movies. The announcement came on Twitter. Universal tweeting the Fast and Furious Supercharged will open at its Hollywood location in 2015.
And jumping to the box office, Captain America: The Winter Soldier was back on top of the box office grosses. In its second week, the film took in an estimated $41.4 million. The animated Rio 2 debuted in second with an estimated $39 million, and the horror film Oculus landed in third.
Some good movies out there.
Not a horror fan.
No.
I could do without those flicks.
It's 5:29.
And you're watching Today in St. Louis.
You're watching News Channel 5, where the news comes first.
3 people killed in a deadly shooting at a Kansas City Jewish community center.
Now the St. Louis Jewish Community Center is speaking out on the deadly activity.
A crumbling church forces a school to close. The bill that's being considered by City Hall that hopes to stop buildings from falling into this kind of shape.
And this morning around the St. Louis area, we're talking about clouds, drizzle, a breeze that's bringing much colder temperatures our way. We'll tell you what you need to do when you head out the door this morning.
The only thing stronger than American Ninja Warrior.
Welcome back. Good morning to you. It is 5:30 exactly right now. I'm Pat McGonigal.
You were waiting for just that second. I'm Sarah Daly. Nicole Burley is off this morning. The Blues, man, just when you want to kind of hit the reset button for them each time, it just kind of can't get it back together on the ice.
The bad news, they've lost 6 in a row now. But the good news, the playoffs begin this week.
And how about the Masters?
And they're going to turn the page. I know you were clued into all of that.
I was.
But this chilly weather, Scott, that's the first priority this morning, right?
Yeah, you know, the Masters with all the azaleas blooming, it's always so beautiful. But here at home, things that are blooming right now, Some of them are going to be a little stressed overnight tonight because cold temperatures are on the way in. What you need to do this morning as you head out the door is find a winter coat because temperatures are going to be down into the upper 30s by the drive home. Right now, we're talking about some patchy areas of some light rain and drizzle, some pushing over towards Belleville right now. Look at these temperatures, though, back to our west. Kansas City right now is down to 33 degrees. We're still at 51. Over at Evansville, it's still 61 degrees. So this morning's commute temperatures will be dropping through the 40s. Some patches of light rain and drizzle, but not a lot. So the roads are just a little damp this morning, and temperatures as they drop into the 40s will do so with gusty winds. Those gusty winds continue this afternoon. We drop to 39 by 5 o'clock, 38 by 6 o'clock, and fair to poor visibility with wet roads and rain for the drive home. Going to be pretty sloppy. Let's find out how your morning commute is looking right now. Sarah's been tracking it for us. Hey,
yeah,
Sarah.
It's not too bad right now, so that is the good news. But like you said, a little later on, it could be sloppy. Take a look at the maps. You can see we're in pretty good shape. Green sensors from St. Charles County down to Jefferson County up 55. If you're coming in from Pacific out near Six Flags, no problems there as you cruise on in from 44. And just keep in mind that on the Illinois side of the river, eastbound 70 at 143, there is an overturned tractor trailer that has some lane restrictions. Traffic is getting by, so it's not completely closed. Just something to keep in mind if you're planning to travel that way. Tack on a couple extra minutes. I'd say about 15, 20 minutes or so. Pat?
All right, thanks, Sarah. This morning, a former KKK Grand Dragon is accused of killing 3 people near Kansas City. Overland Park police say 73-year-old Frazier Glenn Cross Jr. is accused of opening fire in a parking lot behind the Jewish Community Center of Greater Kansas City on Sunday. Gunfire killed a retired physician and his 14-year-old grandson, a high school freshman. Police say the gunman then fled to a nearby retirement community, killing a woman there. Now, of course, today is Passover, and the St. Louis Jewish community will gather together with understandably a wide range of emotions. Shock and grief immediately started spreading after news broke of these terrible shootings at the 2 Jewish organizations in Kansas City yesterday. Now, while the local Jewish Community Center is not directly tied to the JCC where those shootings happened, they do work together, and they share many ideas on how to best serve their communities. Local community leaders say the crimes are a tragic sign that anti-Semitism still exists, but they don't want to invoke fear.
You know, I think it's very easy to overreact from a case like this. The fact that we are Jewish is always going to be salient for some individuals. They're extremists, and that's too bad.
Now, the Anti-Defamation League says it is encouraging area Jewish organizations to take this opportunity to review security procedures, but it also emphasized this incident should not cause fear or concern that something like this could happen here necessarily. Coming up at 5:40, NBC's Danielle Lee will join us live from Washington, D.C. on what President Obama is saying about this deadly shooting. Sarah?
Well, Pat, a charter school is closed today because the church next door is crumbling. Ryan Dean is live in Hyde Park this morning in St. Louis. And Ryan, old buildings falling into despair is a growing problem for our city. What can you tell us?
Well, that's right. Here's a number from City Hall. 6,100 vacant buildings in the city. The city spends about $1 million a year demolishing old buildings. Now, this is Bethlehem Lutheran Church. It stood at the corner of North Florissant and Salisbury for nearly 120 years, but it's been vacant since 1995. It has deteriorated so much. On Friday, a wall of the church collapsed. Heavy equipment had to be brought in for it not to fall on the neighboring charter school. It just so happens that today, City Hall is set to vote on a bill that addresses old historic buildings like this church. The bill would put a special focus on what's being called high merit historic buildings and provide tools to go after owners who let those buildings deteriorate. If the bill passes, it would identify structural problems for a building before it falls into a point of no return. That is the very latest. I'm Ryan Dean, News Channel 5.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Well, also right now, crews are dealing with a tractor trailer rollover, like we mentioned during traffic on eastbound Interstate 70 at Illinois Route 143 near Highland. There are no reported injuries, but the truck was blocking both eastbound lanes of 70, so traffic is getting by. Just on the shoulder, do expect some minor delays.
And believe it or not, this morning, many drivers say they still have no fear of driving through Kansas City after 20 highway shootings there, and police now say at least 12 of them are connected. It all started last month. Most of them are in an area on the city's south side where 3 interstates and US 50 intersect. 3 people have been hurt. Luckily, no one's been killed. But still, many drivers say they are not changing their routes.
And the 16th annual Komen St. Louis Race for the Cure is 2 months from today. Every year, thousands of walkers turn the streets of downtown St. Louis into a sea of pink. The event raises money for breast cancer research and screening. And if you're interested in taking part in this year's race, we'll have representatives from Komen on hand a little later today. They'll be manning the phones during our noon, 4, 5, and 6 o'clock newscasts. Also, pitcher Jason Mott and his wife Caitlin will be this year's honorary race co-chairs. He has that Strikeout Cancer campaign, the shirts with the backwards K.
Oh, yeah.
It's really neat. A lot of guys in MLB are getting involved, so good to see that.
Such a cool event, such a cool effort there. It's 5:36. Sarah, I have a loaded question for you. How much money would it take to have the boss come to you and get you to quit? How much would you need to quit right now?
Oh, Lord, I don't know. That would take some time to think about. Well, that's happening at one of the nation's leading retailers.
Okay.
The reason people who've camped out for as long as a week to try out for a TV show will have to be even more patient.
And they're going to get a little chilled as we head into this afternoon and this evening. Temperatures are tumbling today, and we have another round of rain on the way. Just a drizzle this morning, real rain this afternoon. Could there even be a snowflake in the forecast? Oh, no. Right now, our time, 5:39. It's a Monday morning in St. Louis. You'll have the clouds around town. You can see from our First Alert Weather Camera Network here out at Lambert St. Louis International Airport. Still some dampness out there. We have some patches of drizzle. Most of the substantial rain that we saw yesterday, that's all pushed well off to the east. We have waves of it come through the St. Louis area. And yes, this is some snow to the north and west of Kansas City, back down towards Wichita, also up into portions of Wisconsin. It's not out of the question as we head into this evening as the colder air comes in before the precipitation shuts down that we actually end up with a couple of wet snowflakes. Nothing to accumulate. Still 57 in Mascoutah. Edwardsville, those dropped to 51. You're now down to 47 degrees in Wentzville. Our temperatures continue to drop. We're falling back into the 30s by late this afternoon around the St. Louis area, points to the west, even into the Metro East. As you go a little farther east, you'll drop into the 40 to 45 degree range along the Interstate 57 corridor. And again, more substantial rain and showers expected this afternoon into early this evening. Pat?
All right, thanks a lot, Scott. We've been talking about this all morning.
You're exactly right. And into yesterday, 3 people were killed in a deadly shooting at a Jewish community center and nearby retirement community outside of Kansas City.
NBC's Danielle Lee continues our coverage this morning from Washington, D.C. So, Danielle, we understand the president will have something to say about this tragic event.
Hi, Pat and Sarah. Good morning. Yeah, President Obama released a statement really expressing his condolences, calling what happened heartbreaking. Right now, everyone's trying to make sense and try to find an understanding of what happened. Police are still looking for a motive. You know, can you just imagine? It's a Sunday afternoon. People are out enjoying their families when the shooting all happened. 2 people were killed at the first place that the shooter went. That was at a Jewish community center, a freshman in high school, and also his grandfather. Then the shooter went to another location, according to police. That was a Jewish retirement center, and in that case, shot and killed a female. Police say that Frazier Glenn Cross, that's who they're charging with premeditated first-degree murder, used a shotgun and may have also used a handgun and a rifle in this assault. The Anti-Defamation League says that this is a heinous act. They say they're concerned that this could be a hate crime, and that is something police are looking into this morning. Live in Washington, I'm Danielle Lee. Back to you.
And Danielle, there was some dramatic video over the weekend from Ukraine, some pro-Russian troops taking over government buildings and firing automatic weapons. What's happening there?
Yeah, dramatic video over the weekend, and I've got to be honest, I've been following those developments all morning. There's been violence there just this morning with these pro-Russian separatists now trying to take over another city, trying to take over some of these buildings, these key buildings in these cities. And we're hearing from Ukraine's government that they are going to be sending the military now to try to stop what appears to be this slow pushback of these rival groups that keep fighting in the eastern part of Ukraine. So it's a very tense situation there right now. The U.S. is trying to use whatever diplomatic means it has to really try to calm and de-escalate the situation. Later today, U.S. Treasury Secretary Jack Lew is going to be meeting with the Ukrainian leadership. And so they'll be talking about some of the aid that has already been promised by the U.S. And the U.S. is also threatening more sanctions against Russia because the White House and the Obama administration says that they believe that Russia is really encouraging some of this violence. So they're saying that Russia could face more sanctions on key areas, things like energy, also mining, banking. And we're hearing from people that maybe even more needs to be done. Senator John McCain saying that maybe there needs to be weapons sent, and that's something that's now being considered as well. Live in Washington, I'm Danielle Lee. Back to you guys.
All right, Danielle, thanks for that update. We appreciate it.
This is also new this morning. Federal investigators have no physical evidence showing that a FedEx truck was on fire before it slammed into that bus carrying those high school students in Northern California on Thursday. 10 people died, including both drivers. Now, a woman who was hit by that FedEx truck before it crashed into the tour bus says she saw flames shooting from the cab of the FedEx truck as it approached her car. Investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board say they're not ruling out a pre-impact fire, but say a fire expert didn't find any evidence to prove it. And teachers will return to that Pennsylvania high school where a teen went on a stabbing rampage last week. Police say the lone suspect in this, Alex Reibel, stabbed more than 20 people, mostly fellow students. Today, teachers will return. It is the first step, they say, towards reopening this school. Students will be allowed to return with family members on Tuesday. Franklin Regional High School is expected to return to its normal schedule on Wednesday.
5:44 our time this morning. We are talking about some more wet weather today. A little bit damp out there this morning, but more rain picks up this afternoon, along with gusty winds and temperatures that keep dropping.
And for a check of the road conditions, take a look at the Poplar Street Bridge here. You can see 40, 56, 49 as you approach the exchange. Not too many problems.
Here's a look over at the Poplar Street Bridge. Traffic this morning having to deal with a little drizzle as you walk out the door, and just be prepared because we are looking at a big time cool down today. Even though temperatures, especially on the Illinois side, are still well in the 50s, we're dropping pretty quickly, and we're going to have a very chilly afternoon. We're actually dropping into the 30s late today. Rain's going to be on the increase again this afternoon. Most of what we see this morning is pretty patchy and light. Chilly northwest winds will be with us all day long. They'll be gusting above 30 miles per hour perhaps, and the rain may end as a bit of wet snow overnight tonight with a hard freeze likely late tonight, and there is a freeze warning in effect for most of the News Channel 5 viewing area from 11 o'clock tonight until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Here's a look at our first alert weather radar. We've been tracking some patches of drizzle here and there, and again you can see it's pretty patchy in nature, and that's going to be the case here this morning. You'll run in and out of it, a little mist here and there. Not much in the way of significant rainfall until this energy from the west kind of swings back in. That's actually producing snow right now across parts of Kansas and up into portions of areas farther to the north. So that's what we're looking at, as temperatures will be in the 40s this morning, dropping to around 30 or so, 39 or so by 5 o'clock this evening. Near 50 tomorrow and 59 on Wednesday.
You take that snowflake off there right now.
It's just a chance of a wet flake this evening.
Just seeing that gives me the, just makes me uncomfortable. Take a look at what's going on out there. 270 in Riverview, not too much to complain about at this point. If you're traveling in as you approach the exchange, you may encounter a bit of a slowdown there on 64. Just some ongoing construction that may cause some slower speeds, but do keep in mind we want to keep everyone safe. So really slow down through some of those construction zones. We talked about that last week with the week all long. Dana was talking about how just to slow down and be careful with some of those folks out there. Everywhere else, we are in decent shape. If you're coming in on I-70 and near Highland at Illinois Route 143, we do have an overturned tractor trailer there that may cause some problems. Traffic is still getting by, but it's not completely shut down. So just some food for thought as you plan your morning commute. Pat?
Okay, thanks a lot, Sarah. Well, here's a question. If your boss offered you $5,000 to quit, would you take the money and run? Amazon's, quote, pay-to-quit program is designed to make sure warehouse employees really want to be there. The internet giant is making this offer, and it does it once a year, at first offering employees $2,000 to quit their jobs, and then it goes up $1,000 a year until it hits $5,000. Amazon says it's adding jobs, and this is not about reducing the workforce. They just want to really know, you want to be here or not. And there's another effort from T-Mobile now to shake up the wireless industry. It means discounts for you. Starting today, the carrier will start selling 4G-enabled iPads for the same price as Wi-Fi only models and free data for the rest of the year. Rival carriers typically charge $130 extra for 4G devices.
And here's something to make prom night extra special and extra crispy. For 20 bucks, KFC will make you this corsage with a piece of its original recipe, extra crispy or grilled chicken. Really? Just to be clear, the chicken isn't attached despite the video. The corsage is shipped with a $5 KFC gift card. The limited edition creation comes courtesy of Kentucky-based florist Nan's and Craft. But you better hurry, there are only 100 available. Take a look at that.
And you could always, attach your own chicken if you'd like. You could make your own if you like that idea.
Smell like chicken for the rest of prom.
It's 5:51, Sarah, and the countdown is on to tax day.
So all you procrastinators, we've got some last-minute tax tips to help you beat the deadline.
A tryout episode for an NBC show is scheduled to tape tonight in downtown St. Louis, and you're invited.
Welcome back. It's 5:54 and time is running out. If you've been procrastinating, Tuesday is tax day, and believe it or not, it's estimated that 1 in 5 taxpayers still have yet to file. But be careful, because the experts say you could be missing out on money.
We found about 50% of the returns had inaccuracies, and about 1 in 5 of the returns actually left money on the table, to the tune about $500.
And it gets better. It's estimated that taxpayers failed to claim about $1 billion in deductions that they were entitled to.
And NBC's show American Ninja Warrior was supposed to hold auditions in downtown St. Louis last night, but if you listened to Scott on Friday, he said it wasn't going to happen. No way, no how. The weather definitely got in the way.
Why don't those ninjas listen to Scott Connell? But they will get another chance today. Dana Dean is already there. Dana, what's happening?
Good morning to you. Those potential warriors are sleeping in tents right now somewhere behind these gates at Soldiers Memorial. And as long as the weather behaves, the competition will kick off tonight at 5 o'clock. It had to be rescheduled, as you said, last night because of the weather. The threat of storms and gusty winds didn't keep the competitors away during the day on Sunday, but at the last second, the competition was postponed. Mother Nature won, just as American Ninja Warrior was supposed to be held in downtown St. Louis. A local Bethalto, Illinois police sergeant is hoping to be a warrior.
There's a lot of stress from the weather, from the anticipation of actually doing it. But the cool thing is the camaraderie of the people. It kind of keeps your spirits up.
What's cool is you can be a member of the audience. You just have to come down here to Soldiers Memorial around 4:30. They expect around 150 people to show up and watch this competition, but make sure to bundle up. I'm live downtown, Dana Dean for News Channel 5.
So neat. A lot of fun. Traffic-wise, we're in pretty good shape. You're taking a look at downtown St. Louis. No major concerns out there. The depressed section scooting along just fine, and all the bridges, the Poplar, the King, and the Stan Span rolling right along. Scott?
It should be raining for them this evening, but it doesn't look like there's thunder. So that's the big, thunder's the big thing. Now,
right.
I hope they have the little warming blanket and a warming tent right after they get done, because they are going to get wet and it will be cold and it will be breezy. The main area of rain that we saw yesterday, in fact, we had a couple of 3 waves of rain move through the area. That's pushed off to the east now and long gone. We just have patches of drizzle, but the energy still has to come in here later on today. That energy is actually producing some snow across parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, into Nebraska, and some more snows on the northern side of that storm up into Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan this morning. Here at home, while there is a chance tonight that we may actually see a couple of snowflakes, it's basically a cold, raw day with the temperature dropping to 39 by 5 o'clock. The rain picking up this afternoon again. It'll diminish this evening. We will have a freeze overnight tonight as temperatures drop into the 20s, so freeze warning in effect.
So just a chance, small chance for that.
A little snowflake, yeah.
That snow. But you kept all your winter stuff out, right?
No, that's why I don't want this. And we had the windows open. Unfortunately, you can hear the allergies, like just the scratchy throat and the itchy eyes, and so now it's just, but at least that rain kind of washed away the pollen.
Yeah, and it's going to be cool the next couple of days.
Right. Well, moms aren't the only ones at risk for postpartum depression.
Yeah, it's dads too. We'll be right back.